Hello everyone, my name is Kate Okoli. I'm going to make this short video based on there is a video I just watched about a lady that actually attended a wedding, obviously accosted the husband getting married to another woman in a church, I think in a Catholic church somewhere in East Africa or something like that. I'm sure whether Zimbabwe or Kenya. I thought it would be nice to just talk briefly on that incident. The thing is, with the way the world is going on right now, church, a lot of times, even people who were from atheist homes, maybe homes where maybe the parents were heathens and all of that, sometimes they get born again, they go to church, they are taught the right things, and they now take that teachings back home and then influence other members of their families. In fact, their conduct right from when they return back home, they become different people. That actually inspires other family members to now start asking questions. What happened to you? You are now a different person. Show me this God. What is the thing that changed you? Show me that same God that you're not serving. I want to go with you to the church. But now times have changed. In these days of where the gospel has turned into prosperity gospel. So all we hear in churches these days, majority of churches these days, is the gospel of miracles, signs, and wonders. So there's a whole lot that families will have to do, really, on the home front, especially women, especially mothers. The thing is, don't ever think that a child that you are raising is supposed to know certain things. It is not automatic. If you don't teach a child the difference between right and wrong, the society out there will teach the child what they know best how to teach a child. So now, you might be a church worker, you might be speaking in tongues, you might attend church 7 days a week, you might know all the scriptures in the Bible, you might be like a Jim J Christian, like really thinking that you are firebrand and everything. You might sing all the gospels and say, oh, you know how you love God and everything. But one thing is, if you don't have the fear of God in you, all of that is a waste of time. You become a very dangerous person. The difference between one man and another man is the fear of God in one of the men, and then the other one perhaps the other one doesn't have the fear of God. The two of them may be full-time pastors, they may be bishops, they may be full-time members of a popular church, mega church or whatever. The difference between one man or one woman and another is a fear of God in one of them, or a couple of those men and women. So it is important that as parents, especially for mothers, we begin to teach our children certain ideologies that will be embedded in them, so that when they go out in the world, they are able to influence the world positively. Because if they don't already have that in them, when they go out in the world is going to influence them. You see? So a situation whereby a young girl sees a man and obviously gets married, obviously they're about getting married in church, the wife of this same man comes in with 5 of his children to say, he left home this morning, he slept with me even this last night, these are our 5 children. And she obviously had a baby, I think that baby is less than 12 months old, strapped behind her back. And a reckless man like this, playing with the lives of 2 women, not only the 2 women he's involved himself with, but playing with the destiny of 5 other children of his, not caring, because he's only thinking with his manhood, you see, and he wants to allow that manhood to destroy his life. And he doesn't care any other person who gets destroyed while he's trying to satisfy his selfish ego. You see? So now the difference is the fear of God. Any man or any woman who doesn't have the fear of God, I don't care how many scriptures you master. I don't care whether you speak in tongues and fire is and brimstone is coming out. I don't care how many you might be a part of the church and you might want to attend church 7 days a week. If you don't have the fear of God, I don't care whether you are the choir leader or the organist in the church. The difference is the fear of God. The difference in one man and another man is the fear of God. The difference in one Christian and another Christian is the fear of God. The difference between an atheist and a Christian is the fear of God. And that is why you see even there are some atheists, there are some people, they don't attend church, but they just do the right thing. They just know that this thing is wrong, this thing is right. I'm not going to be able to do it. So now the question now remains now, what is the purpose of this, my broadcast? The thing is, if we don't begin to teach our children from the inception about the fear of God, about certain things that they shouldn't get themselves involved when they go out there in the world is going to teach them. I don't care how many times we take those children to church. I don't care how many scriptures we try to teach those children. If we don't take our children aside, particularly, and start teaching them certain things, teaching them certain topical issues about life, then our Christianity becomes of no use. Things like, how do you teach a young girl or a young boy about the taboo of sleeping with a married man or sleeping with a married woman? If you think because you take that child to church, they are going to know that they are not supposed to get themselves involved with a married man or to get themselves involved with a married woman, you are making the greatest mistake of your life. You have to take these topics and sit that child down, sit that boy down, sit that girl child down, and begin to teach them about the agonies that other people feel, the pains that other women feel, the hurts that other children feel. When as a young girl, you get yourself entangled with a married woman. This is not a very popular topic. These are topical issues that people ordinarily, they want to brush under the carpet. They don't want to talk about because it has become a part of the society now. But the thing is, people are hurting. Women are hurting, men are hurting, children are hurting, lives are being destroyed every day because of issues like this. Now, the question now is, how can a young girl now want to tell the whole world that a man she has courted for so long and then decided to accept that to marry this man's hand, obviously to accept the man's hand in marriage after all the arrangements? At what time did they now make the preparation? Are you saying to me that all through the period she was in courtship with this man, she never visited this man at home one day? How do you want to convince anybody that that young girl did not know that this man was married? I find that difficult to believe. A lot of times they know, they don't care. They are blinded by the money that the man spends on them. They are blinded by the promises that the man makes to them. They are even sometimes their parents encourage them, their mothers and their fathers, because they are blinded by poverty. They don't care who is hurt. They don't care who they hurt. So they just go ahead and I've had a lot. They will say, if this person's son does not spoil, another person's son will not be good. You understand? So we live in a society where the moral values have gone like below belt. There are certain things that used to be unacceptable in the society openly, that these days it has become the norm. People don't frown at it anymore. Even in churches, you realize that adultery has almost crippled the Church of Christ. Even the adultery that is committed, even amongst the leadership of the church, the pastors, the deacons, the deaconesses, you understand? So there is no difference. So we must, as a matter of challenge and as a matter of urgency as parents, begin to teach our children these things. The pains of adultery, the pains of a broken home, the pains of a broken family. So when you take a married man and he spends his own money, his own finance, or his own time with you, The wife somewhere there is crying. The children there, you are denying them from seeing from spending time with their father. The money that is supposed to be spent in building one family, you are taking all that money and the attention from that man. And the women, most times, they are praying and they are cursing and they are crying and they are sleepless, and sometimes they become very unwell, they become sick. A lot of women have ended up in psychiatric hospitals. And as the women are crying and cursing and calling God, their prayers have sometimes, their prayers go up to God Almighty. And then later, sometimes when we now begin to have problems, we will say it's one witch, it's one auntie, or it's one uncle somewhere that is the witch that is after us. We wouldn't know that it is the sin, the sin that we have committed, the hearts that we have broken, the women that we have allowed to shed tears. You see, the home, building a home from the scratch is not it's not rocket science. So when a woman comes in with a man and they're building from the scratch and they've built everything, and then suddenly a third party comes in and wants now to take everything, or sometimes to be part of that thing that she did not build. So the women, now the first wife becomes, obviously she feels that her space is like you are prying into her privacy. You are trying to take everything she has built. And then so she begins to cry. And then she begins to call God. You might be watching this video and you say, you really don't care. And all of that. The woman is not created alone for the man. But I tell you, the cries of those women have gone straight to the Almighty God. And as they are crying and they are calling God, the judgment of God will continue to fall upon you. You don't want to be part of that curse. You don't want your children in the future to be part of that curse. So just in case you don't know in the past, maybe your mom has not told you, your dad has not told you, stay away from married men. Stay away from married men. It is a curse. A lot of women have died. A lot of children have been affected as a result of adultery that brings about dysfunctional families. A lot of women have ended up in psychiatric hospitals because of fellow women. Now, the thing is, they say women are their worst enemies, because even if it takes two to tango, you might want to say, oh, well, it is the man that came to you. It is not you. You are in your house and the man came to you. But the thing is, if there's an offer and there's no acceptance, of course, there's not going to be a contract. So as women, we must begin to say no to these advances by these men, to help the men also, because a lot of men also, their lives and their destinies have been destroyed and cut short because of issues like this. And then you realize that as time goes on, you know that you are not following this man because you love him. You are following him because he's paying your rent. You are following him because he gives you money. He gives you his credit card. You are following him because he buys you expensive gifts. You as a mother or a father, you are encouraging your daughter to do all of this because the man comes and dishes out money to you. But you are hurting a whole lot of people, and generations are being affected by your selfishness. And then something, maybe 10 or 15 years down the line, something happens to the man, and then the man falls ill. And then you are nowhere to be found. It is always, most times, the first wife that still, because she is the one that has that original love for the man. And then she begins to attend hospitals. And then she begins to carry the bedpan. And then she begins to take this man to the toilet sometimes when he's not able to clean up himself. And then she comes back again to now start sewing again from the beginning. What she started 30 years ago. What she started 40 years ago. And then those women are nowhere to be found. I must use this opportunity also to begin to talk to men also. If you are a man and you are watching this video, you have to be futuristic in the choices that you make. You must understand, for each time as you are leaving that woman, as you are leaving those children, and they are crying, that their cries have gone up to the Almighty God. And as I begin to round up, you must understand that if you are a man, and you are able to control your male organ, you have solved 70% of your life's problems. If you are a man and you are able to control your male organ, you have solved 70% of your life's problems. And so in rounding up, as I would always want to say when I want to close up most of my talks, you see, when God places people in our lives, When God places people in our lives, we must be careful the seed that we sow in the lives of people. So that married man that you see and he's looking well fed and he's looking well clothed and he looks successful. He has a history. He started from somewhere. The wife was there with him when he had nothing. So she has walked, she has cooked, she has cleaned, she has swept, she has prayed, she has cried. In order to stand by that man to build him. So don't be that woman that will come and destroy destinies. Because of what? Because of money. Because of what? Because of selfishness. So you got to be careful. Parents, let's begin to teach our children. Sometimes as a young girl, you might want to say, oh, the men tell lies. They don't tell us that they are married. When you see a man that is married, you will know. So if a man is 35, 38, 40, the first questions you should be asking, once he invites you over for a date, ask questions. Ask questions during courtship. Ask questions. Get to know the people that know him. Get to know his friends, even if the friends are going to cover up for him. Get to know his intimate friends and close family members. If you are courting a man or you are courting a woman and the man says to you, see that my cousin, I don't like him, don't go close to the person. Know that that man is hiding something. Go behind and befriend that cousin. There must be something about the man that cousin knows that is trying to put you away from hearing that truth from that cousin. Ask questions. Ask questions. Visit his abode. Visit his house. Look around. Make sure there's no woman's picture that is being displayed. Ask questions. You cannot tell me 95% of the time, you always know that that the man is married, but you still go ahead because you don't care. So you destroy everything that woman has built over the years because you are selfish. So there's something that is called nemesis. Nemesis is now the new revenge. So if you feel that the women who are married, they are helpless, nemesis is going to speak on your behalf one day and someday. So I must warn you that if God places people in our lives, we must be careful not to hurt them. Because you want to get married, because your pastor has prophesied to you that this year you must get married, but there is no clause to say, don't marry another person's husband. And so you are desperate to get married. And then you don't care whether you are even destroying the home of your pastor. You don't care whether you are destroying the home of your choir master. You don't care. You just want to be married. And then so you are destroying lives. So the judgment of God is going to come upon you. So don't soil your hands just because you want to get married. Don't soil your hands just because you want to get money from that man. This is a very unpopular teaching, but I'm going to speak it anyway because we see lives being destroyed every day. We see women ending up in psychiatric hospitals. We see children running around in the streets as a result of divorce and dysfunctionalities. So you see men in their 60s and their 70s suddenly leaving their wives that have been with them for over 40 years and then running after a 22-year-old girl. A 22-year-old girl that will not stand by them if there's an emergency because they are thinking with their organ. They are thinking only with their organ. They are thinking about now. They are not futuristic. They are not asking questions. Why is this girl interested in me? Why is she not interested in young boys her age who are just starting? She's not interested in you. She's only just interested in your money. So when God places people in our lives, we've got to be careful because the seeds that we sow today, we're going to reap of in this day and time. The evil that men do, don't live after them anymore. Right here and then, now, the evil that men do, it lives with them. And that's exactly what happened to that girl who tried to steal another person's husband. The wife came with the 5 children and they walked into the church and she was disgraced. And I pray that disgrace will continue to be her portion because she cannot deny that she did not know that man is married. I hope that a lot of young girls will learn a lesson from that girl. Because if you don't stop, disgrace will be your portion. Thank you very much. I need to go. I hope somebody, obviously this broadcast touches somebody. It's not very popular, but in these days we don't have to be politically correct, because the world, a lot of things, lives are being destroyed. A lot of negative things are happening. Homes are being destroyed. The rate of divorce has increased. For every man, every married man that is committing adultery, there is a party, there is a single girl, or even a married woman, or even a divorcee who has accepted that act of adultery, because it takes two to tango. So we must not always blame the men. The blame also should be shifted to the women also, who say yes to the advances of these random men. And I pray that the Lord will open our eyes to know the truth, no matter how bitter the truth is. But the truth needs to be told in order that lives can be changed, can be saved. Thank you very much for watching. Auntie Mercy, thank you very much for watching. God bless you. Have a nice day. Bye.